I'm joined in the studio tonight by Henry Karmin of the Wesleyan men's soccer team. Henry, great to have you back. How are we doing tonight?
Doing great, Alex. Always great. Pleasure to be in your company.
Thanks, bud. So we had a chance to talk earlier in the year about your team's identity and certain expectations you had moving forward. You know, right now, how do you feel about your team? Do you feel like you met those goals?
So I think I'd have to answer that question by first approaching the history of our program. Coach Jeff Wheeler's set the precedent in his 15-plus career time as coach, and he set this precedent of such a winning program. So every year we're expected to compete for the Little 3 title, win a NESCAC title, and make the national tournament. Unfortunately, this year finished second in the NESCAC. Lost a tough game up at Amherst last week to Williams. And so, I think we fell short of our goals, between the white paint. But I think, when you have a perspective of a senior, you look at some of the accomplishments beyond the field, the ability for our team to mold together, create an identity, create a family. That was,
Well, in your defense, there was injuries were a serious factor this year. Obviously, you, Danny Isroff, and it seemed like throughout the year, you struggled to find a consistent starting 11. How do you feel, a fluctuating rotation throughout the season? How did that impact your team?
It's quite an astute observation. I think for the first 3 quarters of the year, I don't think we started the same players for one game. I think that's first a testament to coach's ability to generate wins without a consistent starting 11. Then you have to talk about the depth of our team. You have to talk about the freshmen on our team and their ability to transition to college, from some of them seamlessly.
Despite those injuries, you still managed to have a heck of a year. 6 game-winning goals. It seemed like all in OT. Mm-hmm. Every week, I think I had to see Danny Isroff and Matt Lynch take their shirt off and run into the stands. But what do you think was the defining moment of your season or the biggest win that your team rallied around and moved forward from there?
I think if you had to ask most people on the team, and if you had to ask Danny Isroff,
stud.
Yeah, it would have to be the Tufts game.
Mm-hmm.
4th game of the season. We're still figuring out whether or not we're going to transition from losing 12 seniors, 2 All-Americans, and whether or not we were going to be successful as a team. I believed it, but I don't know if the entire team did. I don't know if the entire NESCAC did. But to be able to come in, beat Tufts 2 minutes into overtime, Danny Isroff looping a ball over
8 seconds in.
8 seconds in. Was it 8 seconds in?
I think it was 8 seconds.
Looping a ball over a defender and then hitting the bottom right corner. First of all, speaks to his class as a player.
Yeah.
He is single, for those wondering. But I differ in opinion from those.
What tops that?
I think the biggest game of our season and the turning point was the first game of the season. Facing an opponent we tied to the previous year. Going through, after losing all these guys, a bunch of guys facing suspensions, and being able to generate a victory, it was able for us as a team to say, we're the real deal. We're a new team, and we're gonna have a lot of fun this year.
No, I have to agree with you, Henry. And you got guys like Dylan Hoy coming in his first game, scoring 2 goals and assists, a huge free kick.
That was special. He's a stud.
He's a stud. And then you got guys like Charlie Gruner, Danny Rubenstein feeding off that energy, and they really just picked up their play all year.
Yeah, I think from that freshman class, I think as a fan and someone watching our games, you're going to see Charlie Gruner.
You can't miss him.
I think he won 70% of the headers that went his way. Those locks of hair flying through the air.
That's all you see on the pitch.
It's all you see on the pitch, right? And he was special this year.
Yeah.
If I was voting,
he's got a bright future.
If I was voting on Rookie of the Year, he'd be first ballot vote. I'm a little biased, but and then I think he takes a lot of the, for the freshman class, he takes a lot of the, acclaim. But I think his partner in crime, his roommate, Danny Rubenstein. Danny, he was so solid for us. He freshman, undersized player, but he filled a role that was the biggest question mark of the team at outside back.
Right back, yeah.
And he was injured during the season. He sat out a couple games for injury, and he was still able to solidify, a starting position, and made that, high school to college transition perfectly. I was very impressed with him.
I don't think we can move any further without bringing up the play of Emmett McConnell, stepping in, filling in some pretty big boots of a guy named Adam Purdy, All-American, comes in, question at goalkeeper, and just takes ownership between the pipes.
Yeah, Adam Purdy's one of my best friends, but I think a lot of people have forgotten about him now.
What about his picture, literally on the pitch?
Yeah, his picture's on the pitch, but Emmett McConnell was something special this year. His first 2 years sitting behind a guy by the name of Adam Purdy, and everything that comes with it, and then to be able to, lead the league in most goalie stats this year.
2 huge PK saves.
2 huge PK saves. He was a centerpiece of our team. But you can't go much farther without talking about Ben Brott. I think Ben Brott was as good as everyone expected him to be.
Yeah.
He was, a lifesaver for our team back there.
And then without Ben Brott, you got Spencer Sznaka. You got Ben Tulot.
You got the big guys back there. Ben Tulot, a guy who, one time started forward this season, and then was, solidified the back four. He was magnificent as well.
So you've been talking a lot about your teammates. Let's talk about you, Henry. You come in, senior year, emotional leader of this team, battling a hamstring injury the first 5 or so games, playing top form. Next game, come in, how many minutes in?
I don't know, 10 minutes.
10 minutes in, you suffer a devastating ACL injury. Tell us what you felt like when you heard that news, and how you rallied around that, or just kept your cool to just keep a face in front of your teammates.
I think it was definitely a difficult time to have such an injury, but I think that obviously it was a sad, emotional time. No one wants to go through that, but I think when you do go through that, you really, truly, as my coach always says, the details and the little things that come with being on the Wesleyan soccer team. Be it, just talking with the guys before the game, be it, in the locker room, hearing coach speak. Those, little tiny experiences, make up for obviously you're building not to play anymore.
It was a pleasure sharing the sideline with you, though.
Yeah, we had some fun out there.
Some banter.
It was great to have the face of Wesleyan pregame out there.
All right, you're a senior. Tell us, what's the future of Wesleyan soccer looking like?
If I'm Coach Whalen, I'm happy to have that Wesleyan soccer team out there because we are young. We're returning all starting 11, and
they're hungry.
They were hungry. And if I'm, Coach Serpone over at Amherst, we're gunning for that number 1 spot.
Uh-oh.
We're gunning. I can't wait to see the guys do it.
One last question. What's next for Henry Karmin?
I don't know. I've still have another week or so to reflect on the season, and then take life from there. Enjoy the last couple months of college.
And I'll be right there with you, buddy.
Yeah, all the way.
Let me just say, it was an absolute pleasure covering the soccer team this year. Some great times, some great laughs.
Yeah, it was.
I'll definitely miss you guys, and congratulations on once again on a great season and a wonderful career.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We've enjoyed every moment of the season. Also, being there with one of your best friends is a very special experience.
Thanks, buddy. You're watching West Pregame now.